The member for Gilmore.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Social Services. Will the minister update the House on the government's commitment to create a simpler, fairer welfare system that helps move people from welfare to work? Are there any challenges to this commitment?
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I thank the member for her question. And as the member is aware, this government has reduced spending growth on unemployment benefits down to 3.7% a year. That is down from a whopping average growth of 13.5% each year for 6 years under Labor. And, Mr Speaker, that success in moving Australians from welfare to work has been underpinned by policies like business tax cuts, increasing investment and job growth, by welfare reforms designed to activate more people into job preparation and job search. And, Mr Speaker, the welfare reform bill that passed this House yesterday would have seen an extra $10 million for rehabilitation and treatment in drug test trials. It will see a $100 million investment to activate more people into job preparation and job search. And, of course, I'm asked about alternatives. And it is actually often quite hard to tell what the alternative Labor policy is on a key issue from week to week. The opposition leader once said, and I'll quote him, "We need to encourage employment participation, not greater welfare dependency." And yet this week, Labor voted against a $110 million investment to help move people from welfare into work through increased employment participation. Now, members, in some good news, we have found a way to work out what Labor policy positions will be. And what you do is you apply what public policy analysis will call the Costanza method of policy identification. In the famous Seinfeld episode, the notoriously shifty George Costanza decides that the best way to make decisions is to do the precise opposite of what you think to do first. And when you apply the Costanza method to the Leader of the Opposition, it is uncannily accurate. So, tax cuts to decrease welfare dependency. First, the Leader of the Opposition says, "Friends, corporate tax cut reforms create jobs right up and down the ladder, including people who might now be on welfare." Apply the Costanza method, and he now says those same tax cuts are a crazy plan. NDIS funding. First, he said anyone who opposed the 0.5% increase was dumb. Apply the Costanza method, and now the Leader of the Opposition vigorously opposes the very same funding. The marriage plebiscite. First he said, "I'd rather the people of Australia could make their view clear on this than leaving the decision to 150 people. Apply the Costanza method, and now the 150 people are the only people who get their say, and the Australian people get no say." And finally, Mr Speaker, on the cashless welfare card, the Leader of the Opposition had two opposing points of view in the same sentence. He said there are some people who probably will benefit from this scheme, and then said, but also it's a hard measure just to get a headline. Members, the only ever Leader of the Opposition shiftier than George Costanza.
The minister's time has concluded.